Hey, and welcome to the channel. I'm Tanya, and this is where I share about my cross stitch, sometimes my knitting, sometimes my needlepoint, and the books that I read that I want to share with you. So today I have a little bit of cross stitch, and then I went to a book signing earlier in the week. I thought I would share that at the end. So I have one design that I wanted to tell you about, a finish, and a whip. So let's get started. So with the Jane Austen 250th birthday commemoration that comes next month in December, I designed a little Jane Austen cross stitch pattern, and it's called Jane Austen Day Sampler, and I made it into a fabric book. So I stitched the design on linen, and we have Jane, we have a basket, and of course her name. A sweet floral border, partial alphabet, a flower. What else do we have? An anchor, because my favorite Jane Austen novel is Persuasion with Captain Wentworth, so I had to put an anchor in there. We have some waves at the bottom and a key. So it's a very sweet design, and the pattern is available on Etsy as a PDF download. I was gonna frame it, but how many framed pieces can I have? And we are in an apartment temporarily, and there's not much wall space in here. I have boxes of framed items and just a few things on the wall. So I wanted something that I could have out, but not framed. So I had this pretty fabric. I just patchworked, pieced it together, and it just came to be as a little fabric pouch, and in it I'm gonna put little bookmarks and paper pieces that I've jotted down, quotes and such, just a little keeping of things that I want in this little envelope. I just sewed it on the top and the bottom with muslin, and again the fabric, and then I added some yarn for just a loop closure there, and I have this sweet little heart button, and there she is. So again, the pattern is in my Etsy shop. The link is down below. This is my finish, and on first sight of this Santa, I wasn't sure that I would purchase him because I didn't like the snowballs. They look like eggs, and the sack looks like a deflated balloon or a kidney, and I wasn't really keen on that. And I don't like when they put the lettering. It's just, sometimes I like it and sometimes not. These have really grown through the years. The first one being in '84, I think, and that was my favorite. But this one, he's okay. Once he came to life, I liked him. So I stitched my Prairie Schooler Santas in DMC 304 to make it a little brighter, a little more cheerful. I do love the muted tones of the red 221. I do change it up a bit. I just make them a little more bright for Christmas. So I did change the snowballs to more circular shape, and I kind of finagled with the bag. Now it looks like a whistle, but it's better, I think, than that one. So he's cute, and he's gonna be made into a pillow. I brought the pillows that I do have out of my little holiday cubby in the closet. Again, we're in an apartment, so when we moved everything in the storage unit, I pulled out the holiday things, of course, to put in the closet, so I'd have those on the ready when Thanksgiving, Halloween, and Christmas came. So I pulled these out to share with you, and as you can see, I started doing them in the DMC 221. This is my favorite guy. He's just classic. I love him. So I think I have more of this fabric. I hope so, because I like them all in the same. We shall see. So we've got this guy. I can't remember what years these are, but this one with the bird and the snowshoes. And then this one, I really liked this one. I thought this one gave such movement with the wind and the rabbits. He's got a lot of character, and I love his beard. And then this was the last one in the 221 DMC, and then I wanted to brighten them up a bit. This one's fun with the owl. And I guess that's a raccoon. Yeah. And then I changed him to a brighter red. So this one's pretty fun. I like those snowflakes and his candy canes. And this one, I actually put the year. I should have put the year on each one, but too late now. So this guy will join the bunch. So there they are. Those are fun to do. In my Stitch Night video, I showed you last that I was going to be starting this Jane Austen kit. This is worked on, I thought Aida, but you know those mugs, and I think they were more than mugs, but they were mugs back in the late 80s, and they had an insert, and it was like Aida but not. It had that texture to it that you would insert it and your stitching was on that, and it would show through the plastic in the mug, and that's what this fabric is like. I thought it was Aida, but yeah, I didn't like it, so I just got linen instead to do it. This is a design that I believe is out of print. However, I have researched this designer, Margaret Yvonne Allais, and she was a designer for the National Trust UK. She passed away last December, I read, and she did several Jane Austen themed designs. And they're scattered around in kits on the internet, so check Etsy and eBay and just do a little digging and you might find some. They are so beautiful, and you cannot see the detail in this little photo because, are you ready? It's really pretty. So I just got some linen out and I'm working it on that. It's a really beautiful oval shape, and I'm using the color scheme, but I did change to full skeins of DMC because I worried that I wouldn't have enough in the kit. And it's anchor floss. So I don't know. It's probably plenty, but I didn't want to risk it. And I also want to make the flower a little more cheerful, brighter, since a theme with me. It's a little brighter colors, but it's an adaptation taken from a sampler that is dated 1797, stitched by A. Jane Austen, and initially they thought it was the Jane Austen, and now they say it's another Jane Austen. Really? So I don't know if I believe that. I think there's only one Jane Austen. So I'm just gonna go with, this is her design, and yeah. So this Ms. Allais, I-L-E-Y, adapted and took a portion of the sampler and made this. So it's really lovely, and I'm really, really enjoying it. So at the top it says, "Praise the Lord, O my soul, and all that is within me. Praise his holy name," and it is in backstitch. So that is what I'm working on. And then I wanted to tell you about a book signing and author event that I went to on Sunday evening at my local independent bookstore called Old Town Books here in Northern Virginia. And I read this book, The Correspondent by Virginia Evans. You've probably heard about it because it's making all the ways around the literary world as a fine read. And I read this in early October and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I gave it 5 stars. I couldn't stop talking about it, raving about it, recommending it. And I think it was like 2 weeks later, they sent an email from the bookstore and said that this author would be at the store on such and such a night, buy tickets. It was pretty economical. Came with the book, or not the book, I think. I got the book. Signed by the author, and I immediately signed up to learn it was sold out. I was so bummed because I was so ecstatic about this read, and I got on the wait list, and then a few days after that, they said they had such a draw for this book. I mean, how could you not? And they opened up the wait list, and if you were contacted by email, you had 24 hours to respond. Otherwise, it would move to the next person. I got the email, I think it was like a week later. I bought the ticket immediately, and I got in, and I learned there were like 300 still on the wait list. So I was so excited. Virginia Evans has written, I think 7. I think this is her 8th novel. I'm not clear if the others were published, but they were full books. And this is the one that made headway. So it's a beautiful story about this woman, Sybil. She writes it in letter format, so it's epistolary in style, which normally I'm not a fan of letter format in a novel, but it worked. It really, really worked. And I think Sybil is relatable on many ways, and she will just cross the divide with ages. So Ms. Evans did sign the books, and then we got to meet her for a personal face-to-face at the end of the little interview, and it was a delight. It was the highlight of my week. So that is the video for today. I hope you've enjoyed, and I hope November is treating you well so far. I look forward to stitching more, reading more, and sharing it in the next video. So please like and subscribe and follow me on the socials. I'm on Instagram and TikTok, so if I don't see you here, I might see you there. Till next time, bye.